Most horror films are from the victim's perspective. We get to know them, get to like them, and then when the evil shows up, we watch with bated breath to see if they survive the nightmare situation they find themselves in. However, there's an occasional horror film that comes along that shows us killers' perspective, diving into their backstory and thrilling us by bringing us deep into their evil mindset. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 horror films from the killer's perspective. Number 1, Maniac. Elijah Wood has portrayed many different kinds of characters throughout his career, so seeing him take on such a dark and mentally ill serial killer just needed to happen. And it did with his performance as Frank Zito in 2012's Maniac, which is a remake from the 1980 film of the same name. Following Frank, we learn he has schizophrenia and recently taken over the family business of mannequin restoration. However, he was severely traumatized as a child, as his mother was a prostitute who made Frank watch her encounters. When we meet up with him, you can tell his violent nature by the way he moves and the way the camera picks up that desire for something more. The first kill we witness is with a woman named Lucy, where he ends up scalping her and using that part of her on one of the mannequins. He goes on to do this with a few more people, and the final victim isn't actually killed by him, but a passing car. I will say, this is a brilliant film, and Wood has to work very closely with the director of photography during this entire shoot. And even though you only see him in reflections, it really gives you that POV style more in depth and that edge of what's going to happen next, causing just the right amount of tensions as we follow his story. The score is one for the books as well, adding that little touch of mystery, hate, and desire to each scene. Make sure to check it out on Pluto, Plex, The CW, AMC Plus, Philo, Sling, Prime, Google Play, or Apple TV. Number 2, In a Violent Nature. Written and directed by Chris Nash, we get this slasher film, shot almost like a nature documentary, but also POV style with the killer Johnny. We follow a group of friends as they go camping, and one of them finds this locket that's hung on a fire tower. Unbeknownst to them, this locket was keeping Johnny dead. And when they remove it, he wakes up and wants nothing else but to get it back at any means necessary. He brutally kills the friends one by one, even a ranger, all in hopes to be put back to rest. The ranger, before his demise, tells a few of the friends that Johnny was mentally delayed and was tricked to go up the fire tower when somebody scared him and he fell to his death, with locals deeming it an accident. Johnny comes back whenever the locket is removed from the site, making them all have a giant target on their back. Brutal kills are the main part of this film though, and following Johnny as he commits these heinous crimes is not always for the faint of heart. But make sure to take some time to check this out over on Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 3, American Psycho. Based on the novel of the same name by Bret Easton Ellis, we have this adaptation starring Christian Bale, William Dafoe, Jared Leto, Josh Lucas, and Reese Witherspoon. Set in 1987, Patrick Bateman, played by Bale, works as an investment banker who tries to show off an elaborate lifestyle among his friends and fiancée, Evelyn, played by Witherspoon. As much as he wants to impress these people, he truly hates them and doesn't care if they live or die. Bateman gets jealous of Paul Allen, played by Leto, and ends up murdering a homeless man that night, but later gets Allen drunk and brutally kills him. Okay, at this point, I was kind of mad. Why are you getting rid of Leto so damn quickly in this one? I digress. Bateman ends up luring girls over and torturing them, all the while Detective Donald Kimball, played by the brilliant Defoe, is sniffing around trying to figure out where Alan went. I will say, this ending had me shook. I was not expecting that fully. But I guess there are some clues to it earlier in the film. And no, I can't spoil it for you. That would be mean. So go check it out for yourself over on Plex, Netflix, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 4, Peeping Tom. I will say before we start this one, it comes with major trigger warnings, as this 1960 film directed by Michael Powell is sure to bring up some questionable topics. It was even banned in Finland for 21 years due to its content. But with that aside, let's dive in. We follow Mark, who is a member of a film crew and part-time photographer of girls, who is also very attached to his camera. He picks up a woman and shows her what he does with this camera and fatally stabs her with a knife he had hidden in the tripod. Then we learn about Mark as he was essentially torturing people using fear to further his career. Now he's a shy guy who is a bit of a loner when he meets Helen, one of the women who live in his building with her blind mother. Well, Mark ends up killing again and disposes of the body in a prop trunk, which the lead actress finds and is traumatized by, which causes them to bring in a therapist. This therapist knows Mark's dad's work and kind of empathizes with him, but I feel it wasn't fully received. This film is one for the books, and I love that it's shot in this POV style, mainly looking through the camera as if you are Mark. It just fits the narrative better and really makes you think, touching on themes of child abuse, sadomasochism, as well as the Freudian relationships Mark has with others. It will open up doors for discussion. So let me know your thoughts on this film after you check it out on Tubi, Roku, Prime, Google Play, or Apple TV. Number 5, May. Psychological horrors can be a hit or miss, and this was a hit. In 2002, writer and director Lucky McKee brought this film to life and has gained quite the cult following in recent years. We follow May from child to adult, struggling with a lazy eye of all things, gets corrected and seems fine, but it still bothers her. She ends up dating Adam and he shows her this cannibalistic film he created, which piques her interest a little too much. He ends up getting away, so she decides to take up her friend on a previous offer, which also backfires on May. She ends up working at a school for the blind when she brings in her favorite doll there to show to the kids, when they completely destroy it. This upsets her and sends her on a murderous rampage, and she goes after all those that have wronged her, takes pieces of them, and builds the perfect doll. Except this doll doesn't have any eyes. It's definitely an interesting film, and one I think you would enjoy. So head over to Tubi, Pluto, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango to check it out.
Looking for some new duds to dazzle your friends and family with? Support Fat Ninja Studios by heading over to fatninja.shop and checking out our very own merch store. We've got everything from shirts, hoodies, hats, shoes, and more. Again, check out fatninja.shop. Every dollar spent goes to our big fund jar and helps us produce more quality content and short films. Thanks again.
Number 6, Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon. In a world where notorious slasher villains are real, we follow Leslie, an up-and-coming murderer, as he is followed by a documentary crew. He tricks the crew into thinking that he's actually dead, and not this mentally unstable character he's revealed to be. Tensions rise between Leslie and Taylor, the documentary's host, as he wants things to go a certain way. But she soon realizes she can't let this happen. Directed by Scott Glosserman and starring Nathan Bassell and Robert Englund, it's hard to dismiss this film. Shot entirely like a mockumentary, this black comedy slasher film is bound to intrigue you further than you expected. I will tell you, There is a hint to a sequel, however, that has been in production hell for years now. So if it ever does come out, we will let you know. In the meantime, check this out over on AMC Plus, Google Play, Apple TV, or Prime. Number 7. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. In 1986, John McNaughton directed and co-wrote this story following Henry, played by Michael Rooker, who just recently got out of jail and traveled to Chicago to live with his old prison mate, Otis. Henry goes to admit that he killed his mother to Becky, Otis's sister. And at one point, Henry develops this protective instinct for her, not claiming love or anything, he just wants her to be protected. However, one night, Otis breaks his TV, so they go to buy one off the black market when they kill the seller. And honestly, that was kind of brutal. Henry goes on to tell Otis about what he's been doing and how, making sure that Otis knows, you don't do it the same way twice. And you keep moving as if to stay undetected. Eventually, Henry kills Otis, and he and Becky head out to San Bernardino to reunite with her daughter. But he's seen traveling alone at the end. This film was originally rated X, and for 1986, I can see why, as there are themes in this film they did not want to touch on at the time. However, it has been remastered, and all deleted scenes return to the film. So make sure to check this out over on Tubi, Peacock, Pluto, Roku, Fandango, Redbox, Plex, Prime, Google Play, or Apple TV. Number 8. Angst. Beautiful cinematography, a killer score, and a performance like no other in this tale about a serial killer running rampant through a countryside city. We follow Kay as he just recently was released from prison for killing his own mother, where he finds himself at a diner when he believes two young beautiful women are judging him when his urges strike. Unable to do anything at the moment, he flees and ends up at a house of a mother, son, and daughter, tying the daughter to the door, drowning the son, and ultimately killing each of them and driving off with their bodies. His final moment is when he's apprehended by the police and sees the fear across everybody's faces when the bodies are seen. I will say, it is in German, but I feel it just adds to the depth of the film. Kay is a deeply disturbed individual who just wants to kill others. Doesn't matter who or how, just that it happens. And the way the camera work is also adds that suspense factor for a lot of times. You're seeing things in a different perspective, and it's brilliant. Make sure to check it out over on Tubi, Sling, Prime, or Fandango. Number 9. The House That Jack Built. We follow Jack, played by Matt Dillon, who's a failed architect that has OCD and tells his story to Verge, played by Bruno Ganz. Through a series of flashbacks and debates, we find that he slowly became a serial killer who went on to murder over 60 people for various reasons. The way the camera follows Jack and loses focus sometimes really helps the storyline because we're witnessing the downward spiral of this man, who oddly enough wants to build a house as well, but nothing is working. The shaky camera angles give in to his anxiety. Lighting just plays into the darker side of Jack and his urges. Even the score through the film just adds just enough emotion that you're almost feeling his anxiety or fears. But, according to Jack, he has done nothing wrong and deserves to go up and out of hell. Some of these murders, though, are truly horrific and disturbing, fitting right along with Jack's deranged sense of morality. Even going as far as comparing grapes getting ready for wine to the decomposition of human remains. I found this film interesting and kept me intrigued due to Jack's comparison of random things to the murders he committed. Lars von Trier did a fantastic job with this story, and I think you'd enjoy it as well, so make sure to check it out on Roku, AMC Plus, Philo, Sling, Prime, Fandango, Apple TV, or Google Play. Number 10, Frailty. Bill Paxton's directorial debut happened with this 2001 psychological horror film that he also starred in as dad to Adam and Fenton Meeks. On the surface, they look like a loving family. But one night, Dad has a vision stating that demons have unleashed on Earth and he now has to kill them. But they look like everyday people. Fenton is not on board with this and even thinks his dad has gone off his rocker. Adam, on the other hand, claims to have visions too about what these people have done and joins his dad freely in the murders of many people. A lot of this story we see as a flashback to when the boys were younger, but adult Fenton, played by Matthew McConaughey, is telling this to an FBI agent, first at the office, then as they're on their way to the rose garden that people were buried in. I will say, Frailty does not get enough credit for how well this is done, and it takes a classical look since you don't see any of these killings, but it's all through the eyes of the killer. The storytelling is just brilliant and the score accompanying the scenes is just magical. You really feel what Fenton is going through. Make sure to not miss this one, or even revisit it. It's worth more than one watch. Over on Tubi, Sling, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at StudiosFat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.